Could China be a real competitor for Elon and his allies? For a nation dominating manufacturing of chemicals and electronics, among other stuff, looks like they have their eyes literally set on the big picture now, outer space. With a well thought out 25-year space exploration plan, we'll say that they have their priorities set right. Now, China isn't just trying to catch up in the space race, they're looking to lap everyone else. NASA, SpaceX, ESA, you name it. They're building rockets, launching space stations, and setting their sights on the moon and Mars. At this point, they're just showing everyone who's the boss. So, how is China pulling this off? You see, China's space journey didn't exactly start with a bang. Back in the mid-20th century, the US and the Soviet Union were hogging the spotlight with their epic space race, while China was quietly learning from the Soviets using their rocket designs as a blueprint. Then came a game changer. Dr. Qian Suisen, trained at MIT and Caltech, this guy was basically China's answer to Wernher von Braun. He laid the foundation for China's ballistic missile and satellite programs, kicking off a space revolution. Then came the 1970s. With it, China launched its first satellite, Dongfeng 1. It was modest by today's standards, but it was a statement. China was ready to play. Decades of steady progress followed, but the real fireworks started in the 2000s. By 2013, China landed its first rover, Chang'e 3, on the moon. In 2019, they became the first country to land on the far side of the moon, and in 2020, they brought lunar samples back to Earth, joining an exclusive club with the US and the Soviet Union. As we continue to follow China's ambitious space journey, be sure to like and subscribe to stay updated on all their future milestones with the eyes set firmly on the 2030 horizon. China is going all in. First on China's priority to-do list is ramping up its launch capabilities. Meet the Long March rocket family, the backbone of their space program. These rockets are beasts, but the real star here is the Long March 5. This bad boy packs a punch with YF-100 engines that generate 36 million horsepower. For a fun comparison, that's like 120,000 Ferraris at a full throttle. Oh my god, right? Well, China's engineers are already working on the next-gen Long March 9. This design is expected to carry a jaw-dropping 140 tons of payload into orbit, perfect for building lunar bases or launching missions to Mars. Oh, and do we mention that they're looking to make it reusable? This will put them head-to-head with SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and Starship. But the truth is that it's not just about rockets. China is also developing a whole space infrastructure. From refueling stations to autonomous spacecraft capable of self-repair. Think of it as turning space into a high-tech highway system. I mean, that would be some future. So the thing is that while the International Space Station has been a global collaboration, China has decided to go solo. This is thanks to Tiangong, China's fully operational space station. By late 2022, this modular marvel was up and running, hosting astronauts and experiments. And you must have heard something about it. And what's the big deal about Tiangong? Well, it's not just a floating lab, it's the springboard for China's future space conquests. Lunar bases? Check. Mars missions? Double check. Long-term space habitats? You bet. It's essentially their testbed for figuring out how to live and work in space for extended periods. And unlike the ISS, which has an expiration date, Tiangong is entirely under China's control. No sharing, no compromises, just a fully Chinese-run hub for research and maybe even military operations. Now that all sounded cool, but what's China's ultimate goal? The moon. Now we know what you're probably thinking. That's not much of a goal because that's already been done. However, they're not just planning a visit, they want to stay. Oh yeah, by 2030 they aim to send astronauts to the moon as part of the International Lunar Research Station project, which is a collaboration with Russia. But make no mistake, this isn't just about planting flags and taking selfies. China wants to build permanent lunar bases to mine resources like helium-3 and rare earth elements. These materials could revolutionize industries back on Earth and give China a massive economic edge. And then there's the idea of space-based solar power stations, massive satellites that collect solar energy and then beam it back to Earth. Clean, limitless energy, the stuff of sci-fi, but China's making it a reality. Oh, and Mars? That's 2 on the agenda. By 2030, they're planning a Mars sample return mission. And they've got long-term dreams of sending humans there too. And we may not know what the future holds, but at this rate, we can estimate who's got it. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, SpaceX. Elon Musk's company has been absolutely crushing it. In 2023 alone, they launched 98 rockets and delivered over 1,195 tons of payload into orbit. So what were the secret weapons in Elon's arsenal? Oh, and that would be the reusable rockets like Falcon 9 and Starship, which slash costs to as low as $3,000 per kilogram of payload. China, on the other hand, is catching up fast. In 2023, they managed 67 launches, and they were aiming for over 100 in 2024. While SpaceX focuses on efficiency, China's strategy is all about breadth. Rockets, stations, moon bases, Mars missions, almost everything that you can think of. But here's where things get a little spiced up. SpaceX has a huge edge with Starlink, their satellite internet mega constellation. Although internet access is a huge advantageous factor, Starlink is a critical military tool too, enhancing communication, reconnaissance, and even drone operations. China sees this as a direct threat, especially after their Tiangong Space Station had to dodge Starlink satellites twice in 2021. And let's not kid ourselves, space isn't just about exploration anymore, it's also about military dominance. China's space program is deeply connected with the People's Liberation Army, or PLA for short. Their satellites are already being used for intelligence gathering and secure communication, and there's speculation that Tiangong could host anti-satellite weapons. This isn't just paranoia. Imagine if China disabled GPS satellites. It would cripple navigation, military operation, heck, even your road trips. Like, seriously, who still uses paper maps? The stakes are incredibly high, and the growing militarization of space could spark a new kinds of arms race. Finally, it's time to talk about some economics, because as you know by now, space is the next gold rush, and China is going to prove it. They're eyeing two game-changing opportunities. First up, we got extraterrestrial mining, and truth to be told, the moon is like the jackpot of cosmic resources. It's got everything from rare metals to game-changing elements called helium-3. What's that exactly? Well, helium-3 is an isotope that's super rare on Earth, but surprisingly abundant on the moon. But what makes it so special? Well, it could be the fuel for nuclear fusion reactors. You know, those futuristic power plants that could generate nearly limitless clean energy with zero radioactive waste. If we crack nuclear fusion, and scientists are working on it, it can completely transform how we power our world, and helium-3 is the golden ticket to make it happen. Basically, this means that China is looking forward to using the moon as a resource hub. If they can mine helium-3 and other valuable materials like rare earth metals, it will definitely mean an economic power shift. These rare materials are critical for making all sorts of high-tech stuff, from smartphones to electric vehicles to military equipment. But mining on the moon isn't easy. It's not like you can just send a bulldozer up there and start digging. China's going to need some serious tech, autonomous robots, advanced mining tools, and ways to process materials in low gravity. With AI on superior evolutionary trajectory, they've already started investing in the technology to make this happen. Alright, so the second big opportunity is space-based solar power. This one is straight out of a sci-fi novel, but totally within the realm of possibility. Here's the basic idea. The sun is the ultimate energy source, right? But on Earth, we got a problem. Our atmosphere blocks a ton of sunlight, and the weather doesn't always cooperate. This is where space-based solar power stations come in. These are giant satellites equipped with solar panels that float above the Earth's atmosphere, soaking up sunlight 24/7. No clouds, no nighttime, no interruptions, just pure unfiltered solar energy. Whoa, huh? Well, the magic doesn't stop there. Once these satellites collect all that energy, they convert it into microwaves or lasers and beam it down to special receiving stations on Earth. From there, the energy gets turned into electricity and sent to the power grid. If China pulls this off, it would be an absolute game changer. Limitless clean energy beaming down from space wouldn't be a dream anymore. No more burning fossil fuels, no more worrying about running out of resources, and it would be a huge step towards solving climate change. And a plus is that it could provide energy to remote areas that don't have access to traditional power grids. China's investing heavily in space-based solar power, aiming to test a prototype by the mid-2030s. Success could revolutionize the energy market. Though challenges remain, China's resources, technology, and determination make them a strong contender. The future is uncertain, but China's ambitions are clear. They're reaching for the stars. Like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in the space race. And if you're curious about another fascinating topic, check out our video on what they say is the world's most secure embassy and the untold secrets it holds. You won't believe what it is.